All right, guys, welcome back to this week's show. It's the Vegas Guys Locker Room, and it is touchdowns and trash talk again. Once time with Big Time Shaun. What's going on, big guy?
Oh, I'm just crying about the week, brother.
Oh, man.
Crying about the week.
It is a fun week, is it not? Is it not?
No, wasn't. Really.
It's been quite a rough one for a lot of people. But yeah, I think my biggest story was I had Taysom Hill on the bench this week.
Oh, that was tasty. What did he score? 65 himself?
Yeah, something like almost 60 points, boy. Yeah, just leaving it on the bench. Yeah, just sitting on the sidelines. Just good scoring. Guy couldn't get me 6 points last week. He gets 60 this week. Is ridiculous.
I don't know. If you're relying on Taysom Hill to win your week, you've got big problems.
Exactly. And last week I was like, you know what? I needed a quarterback to fill in for a bye week, and there was not a whole lot there. And I said, you know what? Let me go with a guy with a bunch of upside. Let me go with Taysom Hill, because if he finds the end zone a few times, he's going to have a hell of a week. But it wasn't last week. It was this week to play him, of course. Of course.
1 week short.
So, as always, we're going to start it off. We're going to go over our redraft and our Dynasty League. We'll start off with the Dynasty, man. How'd you do this week in Dynasty?
Oh, I got to play our friend RT, and he decided to have one of the better weeks of his season. So
he's been all right. You know, he improves to 7-4. You guys had the same record, right? Going into this matchup,
yeah.
Both playing for a playoff spot. Yeah,
and I think I had the most points in a loss. So of course he just has to.
I think for this week, the most points in a loss went to Lee. Lee scoring 157.9 and losing to Nick by about 10 points, just shy of 10 points.
That hurts and makes me happy.
Yeah. But you know what? You could have been worse. You could have been Dave. And I, of course, got the Joe Mixon come through, and I win by 2. As he is fighting for that playoff spot, and I come in there and I'm just gonna play Wrecker. That's what I'm doing this week.
A little Joe Mixon 3 for you.
Oh man, it was good, baby. It was good.
How does his tears taste? I'm sure you heard some.
Oh my God! And then we had to get that as the trade deadline. We got the trade in before the end of the Monday night game, and yes, he did some more wallowing and crying after that. Especially because he knows I'm out of the playoffs, and in Dynasty, if you're out of the playoffs, you just need to pack it in and prepare for next year. So I'm stockpiling assets at this point. You were looking for a running back. You needed a running back. We made a trade between Connor and you got Kate Otten, and you gave me
up Connor and Kate Otten, and I gave Garrett Wilson my first round next year and Schultz.
Dalton Schultz.
Fill your tight end spot.
Yep. You did, and he, of course, was whining about that.
I think he was more whining for the fact that he makes it just. So he was looking for a reason to.
Yeah, just because he got backdoored on the 2 points there, because it was the only thing that could hurt him was Joe Mixon, and Joe Mixon went nuts this week, putting up some serious points, putting up 41.3 in our league. And of course, you're embarrassed when you get Jared Goff in our Dynasty and he goes off for 52 and you lose. That's a tough one to swallow.
Oh, yeah, that's. Yeah, he was riding high going into the Monday night. No. For about halftime, he was like, "What the hell's going on?"
Well, yeah, he didn't get a whole lot of his big names. I mean, Derrick Henry didn't have a great week. He had the subpar.
Derrick Henry fumbled. When was the last time Derrick Henry fumbled?
That is a good one. Yeah, I know Derrick Henry hasn't fumbled in I don't know how long, and he goes down, and they only had 13 carries, 65 yards. Did get a touchdown to kind of save the week. Otherwise, it could have been a rough week for Derrick Henry owners. Of course, it did have John R. Chase.
Yeah, just talking about that Ravens Steelers game real quick.
Yeah,
Derrick Henry didn't have a carry in the entire fourth quarter.
No.
And that game was decided by a field goal or less? It was like 13-12 or something like that?
It was 16-18. 16-18.
Yeah. And you don't give Derrick Henry a carry at all. in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, they definitely let Lamar Jackson spin it. That's for sure. I'll tell you that. They were definitely relying on Lamar Jackson to carry him through this one.
And how good have the Ravens ever been when you're relying on Lamar Jackson's arm?
Yeah, that was the funny point. You know, I like Lamar Jackson. We'll discuss this more here in a little bit, but I do like Lamar Jackson. I just think there's some things that they could do to make it a little improvements on that Baltimore team, so to speak. But we'll get into that after we get finished trash talking some of our league mates here who end up with losses. Who else lost? George, of course, loses to Natan, who's still in a playoff hunt. Brian out.
Did he score 200?
Yeah, he did. He scored 200 points.
What the hell?
Yeah, he had, of course, Burrow going. He had Barkley. He had Jerry Jeudy. He was playing Jerry. He literally played Jerry Jeudy. Unbelievable. I mean, the man actually put Jerry Jeudy in the lineup. He actually had Douglas, too, of the Patriots. He had him going in there, and he had a decent game for as far as, what you're looking at from his team.
His lineup has to be just because everybody else was on bye, because you don't play Jerry Jeudy at all.
Yeah, he had Pittman on the bench, Tajay Spears on the bench, and he went with Jerry Jeudy. That's a ballsy move, Nathan. Ballsy move. And it paid off for you, buddy. It worked out for you. I mean, it was a good move. Hey, man. Hey, got to give it to him. Blind squirrel finds a net every now and then. So, puts up some great points. Week high score for Team Natan, of course. And listen, the matchup that I was looking to watch was, of course, you and RT. And unfortunately, RT got the better of you. And then the other one was Lee going up against Nicky Boy, and Nicky Boy pulls that one out.
Yeah, Nick's team's is gelling pretty well. He's going to be kind of hard going down the line, I think, because it's the way his matchups fall. Lee's been doing really good all year long. And RT, it doesn't matter when I play RT or how I play RT, he always seems to beat me.
Yeah.
It just doesn't matter. I think I owe him 3 dinners by now.
Oh.
It's just,
The tough one for Lee on that one is he had Taysom Hill in his lineup in this league.
Oh.
Yeah, this is the league that he's got Taysom Hill. And he had him in the lineup getting, he only got 52.52 in this league. But he ends up with the loss, which is a tough one to bear, man. You get that many points at the tight end spot, of course. That's, man, that kind of hurts. That stings a little bit. Didn't get a whole lot of Nico Collins this week. Of course, that touchdown callback, I think, hurt.
Yeah, I mean, he's still coming back from that hammy. And so give him another week. And CJ looked really good out there, a little more confident spinning the ball to him. So It's just going to be coming down, next week, I think is when they start hooking up pretty well again.
Yeah, it's going to be
still
good.
Shocked about that. About Nick's win.
Oh man, I'm telling you, Nick is. It's still been wild. And listen, it's a tight race. There's still there's 6 playoff spots. Nobody's completely out of it. Right. I think I'm done because my point total is just too low. So that's why I've been selling off and collecting assets. Of course, George is out of it, and an outside chance for Kevin, but I think he's already started his rebuilding phase. The only one I think is there's 7 teams kind of vying for a playoff spot out of 6. Right now, Brian is on the outside looking in the Dynasty League, which is interesting because he had such a great year last year, and his team didn't really much change over the offseason, if I remember correctly. And, yeah, he didn't make a whole lot of moves. Still pretty much the same team. I think the Mike Evans thing has really hurt him the last few weeks.
Well, the Mike Evans thing, Patrick Mahomes is having
he's having an abysmal year.
I mean, he's not a great fantasy quarterback anyway, but he's usually better. He's usually good for 27 to 29 points a game, and he's under that by I think 5 or 6 points a game. So
he's definitely he's throwing a lot of more picks.
Kind of rough.
Yeah,
and he's got and he's rolling with CeeDee Lamb, who's still putting up 15 to 20, but he's not putting up CeeDee Lamb numbers.
Yeah, you're not getting those spike weeks. You're not getting those spike weeks. Same with Breece Hall. Breece Hall's gotten the ball a lot more. They were in the beginning of that year. Braylon Allen was getting a lot of go in that Jets offense, and they weren't gelling very well. But lately, it seems like it is the Breece Hall show, and Braylon Allen's seeing less and less of the field, unfortunately. So it's going to be a tight race. It looks good. I mean, even first and second, you got what? You got RT and you got Lee at the top at 7-4. Spots 3 through 7 are all 6 and 5. So it's going to be an interesting next couple of weeks. I'm surprised, like we talked about, there wasn't a lot more moves as far as trading goes in this league, which really was surprising to me. I thought people would start trying to make moves, and nobody besides you contacted me about a trade. So that was interesting.
I'm usually one of the more active trade partners in our leagues, just because I like to sit and twiddle and mix and match. You just want Dave to cry in the comments when we make the trades. Well, this is true. This is true. I like Dave tears. I like Nick tears. Nathan has learned to not respond to me anymore.
No,
so.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's turned off the notifications on his phone. So it should be the next one. We got 2 more weeks before the playoffs, and it's. We got 3. Yeah, we got 3 more. We got 3 more. We got 3 more weeks before the playoffs start. Should be interesting going forward because, I mean, first and second can swap out really easy in the next couple of weeks. I mean, and they can fall into the wild card bracket and lose the bye week. It's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun to watch. You get a chance to this coming week. You get a chance to play spoiler to RT. Absolutely, man. That's all I'm doing. I'm just playing spoiler, baby.
And then Kevin gets a chance to play spoiler to Lee. So come on, boys, sack up for me, will you?
Yeah, you still got a shot to get in that number 1 seed, man. You're only 1 game out.
Somebody, come on, boys.
We get that first round bye.
Yeah, please, I need it.
All right.
The redraft league is breaking my bank.
Oh man, the redraft league is hurting. The redraft league is hurting. It's gonna be a little rough offseason. What's your record now? Oh man.
Yeah. Did we? And buddy, I'm 2-9 in the redraft league. All right.
Yeah, you are. Hey, I'm not much better than you in the redraft league. My redraft this season has been rough. You know, we picked number 1. You were number 1. I was number 2 in the picks. And I hate picking that front part. And of course, you went QB because it's a 2 quarterback league. And I decided to be different, but I went with Christian McCaffrey. He decided not to play for the better part of the half a season.
First 6 weeks or so.
It was almost 8. It was like half the season he didn't play, man. Brutal. So completely destroyed me. And yeah, didn't really work out in my favor, of course, with those moves. And then of course I had the likes of like Devon Achane in that league with Tua going down. That offense just never moved. So,
they need to draft a quarterback badly, I think, in this next round.
Well, at least at least pick him. Tua is a good quarterback. The problem is he can't stay healthy. And then the opposite end is you don't have a backup that's even viable. I mean, that was the big concern I think with most people. Was how come Miami has this injury-prone quarterback and you never went and got a comparable backup to Justin, for insurance purposes?
We talked about it last week that the Giants were most likely, I thought they were going to, bench Danny Dimes. Do Miami try to pick him up as a backup? I mean, serviceable backup, right?
That would be a serviceable backup, especially, He's not going to sling it down the field a lot, but I think he can be accurate enough in those short passes, especially in the routes he got running, and he's got legs where he can move.
Yeah, and a lot of the Miami Dolphins, everybody thinks speed, but a lot of their route running is all intermediate. So yeah, they like a lot of you catch the ball, get them in space, let them go. Mm-hmm. I mean, you don't see a whole lot of 60-yard, 70-yard passes downfield. You see a lot of 20-yard ins, 15-yard slants, stuff like that, and then they just outrun everybody.
Yeah.
So I think he would be serviceable in that offense. I mean, just strictly as a backup. Don't get me wrong.
No, strictly as a backup, and not a starter. It should be definitely an affordable backup at that. You know what I mean? It should be an affordable backup.
Exactly. He's Chase Daniels 2.0 from now on.
There you go. Exactly. But in that league, of course, man, it's been a rough season. I'm 4-7. You were 2-9. Rough year. I thought I was looking good this week, and of course, the opposite end happens to me. Joe Mixon burns me on Monday night, and I end up losing the matchup. So it was just a no-win situation for me. It's been like that all season, and it's been a rough one. This has been a rough fantasy season. Last year was better than this year, that's for sure.
Well, this league I score 173.8 points. I lose to RT pulling out 190 because he's got a horseshoe stuck way up his now.
Team Natan, of course, is starting to falter. He is now 7-4. We were giving him a bunch of grief earlier in this season. He is, I want to say he could miss the playoffs if he doesn't get the ship right here. You got 3 weeks before the playoffs start. He's at 7-4. It could get dicey here for Team Natan here.
If Polkai Prodigy gets on a little run and Natan keeps falling, he's lost 3 in a row.
Yep. Yeah, he's lost 3 in a row. He has lost 3 in a row. He has been on a tiny little losing
streak. He might be sweating a little bit.
Yeah, he started off the season with 6-0. 6-0. He's 7-4 going in the week 12. Ooh, it's gonna get dicey there, Team Natan.
You better go back to letting Watson pick your team, bro.
Auto draft for them, maybe. So, yep. Well, that's our 2 leagues that we talk about. That's our touchdowns and trash talk segment. We're gonna get into the league news that we like to discuss. But do you want to talk about the last minute trades made in fantasy football? What is your theory on that, especially in Dynasty and the redraft? What do you think the difference is and what your strategy should be?
Well, in Dynasty, you're trying to find a trade partner that's on the rebuild for the next season or so, or he's wanting to push into the offseason with a little trade, a little capital, so where he can make a move, which is mainly why I approached you with our last trade. Mm-hmm. And you're trying to shore up any holes that you have while you're on your playoff push. I was short on tight end with Kittle being hurt in and out, and running back with being short an extra running backs. For me, it made sense to give you to go along with my second rounder after our previous trade, but I can't complain about it. I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, the Garrett Wilson. I'm looking at that, hoping that maybe New York gets the quarterback situation that correct. Like I said, I'm just stockpiling. I can make moves with these players later on and kind of restructure my roster. But I knew I was out. I know you're looking for James Conner. To me, it's an older running back. You don't know how much tread's left on those tires. I might as well at this point, if I'm rebuilding, go ahead and try to get a little younger, maybe build some assets, and that's kind of why I was in for that trade.
I really want Connor to finish out this season strong and half of next season is what I really want. I need him to do.
Yeah.
That's what I fully expect him to do. And then Trey Benson will take over for the Cardinals.
Yeah, that's going to be curious to see if they do hand it over to Trey Benson. I know they've gotten him more involved as the season has gone on. James Conner is a little bit of an older running back, so maybe it's a little more spelling him in for rest. But Trey Benson's looked good at times.
Yeah. Well, that whole division's 5-5, right?
Yeah. I think Arizona's 6-4.
6-4.
I think so.
Okay. Well, I know that there's either a half a game or a game that separates everybody, but I know most of them, Seahawks, 49ers, and Rams are 5-5.
5-5. Yeah.
So if you're going to try to save the old guy for the more important games, then get the young guy involved.
That is the
and then
they renamed. By the way, they renamed the NFC West as the polite division. That is the no, please. You win the league. You win this. You win the division. No. After you, please. You win it.
After you, sir.
Oh, you win. This is just ridiculous. I don't even want to do that.
Right. Looking at the future for Garrett Wilson, the Jets just fired their GM. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to come back next year. I don't think the new GM is going to keep him around. So they're probably going to look for a quarterback. They're going to have Devontae Adams. They're going to have Garrett Wilson. They're going to have Breece Hall. All they need is somebody who's halfway adequate to spin the ball. So please don't go after Daniel Jones.
I mean, you could see most. I mean, you look at someplace like, at some of these resurging quarterbacks. Sam Darnold, of course, is in Minnesota this year. They just drafted J.J. McCarthy. The only reason McCarthy's not in there is because he was hurt. Do they move on from Sam Darnold? Is there what other veteran quarterbacks are going to be available?
The way that Darnold's played this year, I think you just let McCarthy sit another season.
That's the way I see it. But who knows what the contract's going to have to be with Darnold? That's a lot of money. That'd be a lot of money spent on the QB position, especially if you got a young guy. You want to see what you got out of him. And there's some ups and downs.
Yeah, well, you've got McCarthy on his rookie deal for the next 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Let him sit for
That's what I'm saying. If you can get Darnold in there for a 2-3 year contract, it's going to depend. I'm sure even if Minnesota would want to bring him back, I think Darnold would probably hit the free agent market and see what's out there. Because there are teams that still need quarterback.
Yeah,
that's going to be
the Raiders are going to make a bad mistake. The Raiders are going to bring him in.
Look at him in the black. He's going to be in the black and silver next year with no O-line.
Oh. No.
He's going to solve all your problems. He's going to be great for the silver and black.
They're going to do the most Las Vegas / Oakland Raiders thing ever. They're going to draft Shedeur Sanders and hire Dion as their head coach.
Oh, God.
That's what's going to happen. It's not going to be the Cowboys. It's going to be the Raiders.
Oh, Lord.
And prime time is going to become flash time here in Vegas once again.
Oh, good God. That's a circus, not an NFL team. That'll be a circus there.
Dude, there are so many holes in our team.
Mm-hmm.
Receivers suck, lines suck.
What do you
suck? Quarterbacks suck.
What do you think is going to be the Raiders' plan going into the offseason? Where do you see them going? Do you see them keeping Pierce around? Do they move on from Pierce? Well, what do you think? What do you think is going to move?
I think since they brought in the Turners, they're going to keep Pierce around for head coach at least one more season. And then they're going to try to go quarterback, running back, offensive line in the offseason, make quarterback, running back in the draft, hopefully. And then maybe be able to make a trade for a wide receiver again, because they don't have a true number one. I mean, Jacoby Myers, up until this last game, I don't think he dropped had a stat where he hadn't dropped the ball all season.
Mm-hmm.
But the bad part is he's only had like 45 balls thrown to him.
Yeah, that's the rough part. And
when your best offensive player is the tight end, who's a rookie, we got problems.
Yeah,
we got lots of problems.
Yeah, I was curious. I thought maybe as the season went on, and when they made the Devontae Adams move, I thought you would try to maybe get Bowers lined up in more of a slot situation, because that's Georgia used to do that. They used to move him all over the field.
Oh yeah,
and you have Michael Mayer there, who you drafted in the first round last year. I'm surprised they never really made that transition. I know Mayer's been hurt. He's back. He's still getting into game shape, but yeah, I thought I'd see that more in the beginning of the season, to be honest.
Right. This previous game, they started doing that. They started having more two tight end sets, more Bowers split out, and I think he went 13 catches, 100 and something yards.
Yeah, he went nuts.
That's insane. Going, and he's consistently like that. I mean, I think he has the record for most catches as a rookie tight end. But again, it's not enough.
No,
one player doesn't make a football team. No. So
a lot of work to do. The defensive side of the ball is a little rough.
Yeah,
you're going to need to replace some guys. You need a little bit of a pass rush. Your secondary is a little weak. Unfortunately, yeah.
As much as it would have killed me, I would wish they could have, if they could have traded Max Crosby for a serviceable receiver or some O-line and some draft picks.
Yeah,
it would have been a sad day for the silver and black, but it would have, I think, would have been a better use of resources in the long run.
I have to agree with you. And listen, Max Crosby is a great football player, and I think he's one of the best defensive ends in the league. But by the time you rebuild this team up and make it to where it needs to be, is Max Crosby still going to be a the dominant defensive end he was when you finally put this team together. I don't think so, because I think it's going to take too long. I mean, you need O-line help, you need D-line help. You need so much help. It's going to be a multi-year rebuild here.
It's going to be a solid 3-4 year process. Yeah, easy. And Crosby's what, 27? So
27, 28 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. By the time it gets set up, he's like Von Miller, just trying to search for a Super Bowl in his 30s. Yeah, I mean, so.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be the key piece there. So, of course, the 49ers got hosed in the last minute, decided they were going to stop playing football with a couple minutes left on the clock. And
how do you let a quarterback that runs a 6-second 40
get that far? Yeah, exactly.
That's far.
I was like, where'd the defense go? I mean, they held him in check all day long, and then when Bosa finally doesn't play, you score 3 touchdowns when Bosa's off the field. Man, one guy, and just defense fell apart.
It is astonishing how good Bosa is. Really,
yeah. Yeah, he is. He like you said, he's like Max Crosby. Those guys are game changers. The unfortunate part is just, man, the Niners' problem is they're not as deep as they've been in the past, since they've had to really start, paying these guys these big contracts. Now you just lose that depth. So you're not as dominant as deep, because the injury thing has been every year in San Francisco. But when you're paying the big studs, now you've got no skill on the second level, and then you've probably got your guys who are free agents that you signed off the couch, or young rookies. You got
to turn around and pay Brock Purdy this year, don't you?
Yep. I think after this year, yeah, we have to pay Brock Purdy. So it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. That's why I'm adamant, and we talked about it last week. I think you got to trade Deebo Samuel. I was watching it again. I was watching every route he ran. He does not create separation. He does not create.
Right. I started picking up on that. He doesn't. They have to manufacture space for him.
Mm-hmm.
When he does get into space, he does immaculate things. Don't get me wrong, but he can't do it on his own. So
yeah, that's the hard part. Is because you got it on. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Hello? You hear me?
Yeah. But yeah, I was watching every route he runs. I mean, he's not fooling the defender at all. I mean, they're with him they're there step by step with him. It's got to be one of those, miscommunications where he gets open, or you've got to run pick plays for him, because he can't get open just on his route running ability. And to me, I'd rather see probably Brandon Ayuk and Juwan Jennings as the 1-2 in San Francisco over Deebo Samuel, because Deebo Samuel is the guy you signed to that big contract before you went and got Christian McCaffrey, because he was going to be that trick player. He was going to be what Christian McCaffrey turned out to be. You were going to go with Deebo Samuel, but you didn't go that route. Christian McCaffrey is definitely better. But if you're going to pay him like a number one receiver, he's not a number one receiver. I don't think so. He's a gadget guy who's very athletic, but I don't see him as a number one receiver.
His separation skills just his downfall.
It's awful. I mean, he can catch, he can make plays on the run, when he gets in space, but he just doesn't create the space to get the ball unless you're running a certain play that frees him up to get him in space. He's not going to beat anybody down the field. He's not going to beat you with crisp route running. I was watching going, man, he doesn't fool anybody. He just doesn't fool anybody.
I mean, you have the greatest route runner in your Hall of Fame in your family. Why don't you just call up Jerry Rice and be like, hey, we need a little pointers?
Yeah. I mean, you got to have something.
For a man here, can you come to practice a couple times, buddy?
Because he does these weird stutter steps. It's like that, it's almost like that schoolyard where the kid who can't really make a move tries to, and all he does is stomp his feet real quick, but goes nowhere, and just kind of turns around. It looks like that. It's just him just stomping his feet real fast and then just turning around, and they're like, what was that going to do? That didn't do anything. That's what it reminds me.
It's an easy day on the outside here, boys.
Man, it's brutal. But Juwan Jennings, we talked about that. You said it. That he looks like a stud. I think easily he could be your number one receiver.
Oh, just get rid of Ayuk. Get rid of Samuel.
You're going to have to, because you're going to have to start paying some of these other guys, unfortunately. And that's kind of been the downfall, especially on the offensive side of the ball, is you can't afford the offensive line, guys as much as you should. That's been a big problem with the pressure getting the Purdy. I mean, that led to a couple picks this week, him rushing through throws, not reading the defense properly because he's got pressure in his face. The offensive line is not as skilled as it was in the past. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what the Niners do going forward. It's, the season's by no means over, but I don't know if they can reach the pinnacle of a Super Bowl victory with the team they have on hand, especially with Javarius Ward being out. And unfortunately, with his family tragedy, that's their number one corner. It's really hurt, with what happened.
Yeah, I'm not going to count them out. If they make it to, they got to be one of the favorites just because there's so much talent.
Yeah.
So, you got to make it there first.
Yep. All right. Last topic we're going to talk about. Lamar Jackson was, of course, going into the week, probably the clear favorite for MVP. You think he's no longer the favorite? Go ahead. Tell everybody why you think
I do not. Did you not watch Josh Allen this past week? Have you not watched Josh Allen all season long? Consistently getting 60, 70 yards, rushing 200 yards, 250 yards, passing 3 touchdowns a game, and then take the Chiefs by himself, breaks 9 tackles to go into the end zone from 29 yards away. I mean, Josh Allen has done it every single week. So, and he doesn't have a true number one receiver. He's rotating running backs in. He doesn't have a solid tight end because he keeps running Kincaid and Knox in. So, to me, he's the MVP.
Okay. Yeah, it's listen, I'm not. I think either one of these guys could definitely win it. I think Lamar Jackson. Listen, when he came out, I didn't think he was going to be that great. He has proven to evolve his game because I thought he was going to be similar to that RG3 role where you look good, but he's too. He's very slender. I mean, he's a skinny guy, and I thought he was going to get broken in half in the league, but he's developed to be a pocket passer when he has to be, and run when it's needed. He looks good. I think he would be more dominant if he doesn't have a true number one receiver. That's the tough part. Both these guys we're talking about who are MVPs, how good could they really be if either one of them had a number one receiver?
Well, you got to think. I think the Ravens receiver core is better than the Bills. They got Zay Jones. They got Deontay Johnson. They got Rashad Bateman. And they got Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely.
Did you just say Rashad Bateman?
Yeah, that's why I quickly moved over.
Yeah, I got to agree with you there. I think Baltimore's wide receiving core is better than Buffalo's, but I still don't think anybody, like if you were to put Zay Flowers on any other team, would he be their number one?
Maybe the Chiefs as of right now.
Yeah, as of right now, the way they play football, yeah, that's probably the only situation.
But I mean, if you put them side by side comparison, Zay Flowers stacked up to Khalil Shakir, which one you take? Isaiah Likely, Dalton Kincaid, which one you take?
I take Dalton Kincaid
just because of his route running.
Yeah, I think his route running. Yeah.
Okay.
I think the more athletic person, of course, is Likely, but I think Kincaid's the better route runner.
Dawson Knox, Mark Andrews.
You got to go to Andrews there. The man's clutch in the red zone. I mean, as far as, for what you've seen in the past, but even though this season doesn't look like Lamar's really been looking for him, I think he's still one of the most dominant tight ends in the league right now.
Yeah. The Bills did just pick up a number one receiver in Amari Cooper, but his wrist is jacked right now.
Mm-hmm.
So Amari Cooper definitely above Rashad Bateman.
Oh, absolutely.
And then the Curtis Samuel is just thrown in the mix.
Yeah.
On the Bills side, and I honestly can't remember who the other wide receiver for the Ravens is because they don't really throw the ball.
Is it Nelson Aguilar? Yeah.
Yeah.
Aguilar is still there. Yeah. Zay Flowers, of course, he's there a little under the intermediate guy getting space. You guys shifty as hell, but yeah.
Honestly, I'd rather have Aguilar over Samuel, because Samuel he can only run a 9 route.
Mm-hmm.
It's been proven that's the only thing he can run, and Aguilar is at least a crosser.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Aguilar's always been one of those guys who he's never going to be the number 1 or 2 guy, but he's a good depth piece at the wide receiving corner. He's proved it everywhere he's been.
Yes, he is. He's a solid player.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just where I am on those guys. Now, you look at the running backs, you've got Cook, the rookie, and then is it Trey Sermon?
No, you're talking Ray Davis and Ty Johnson.
Ty Johnson, yes. I'm sorry, Ty Johnson. How does Cook stock up to the Yeti?
Oh, you're definitely taking the Yeti, especially in the wintertime. It's getting cold out, baby.
No. And then you got Keaton versus Ray Davis. I like Ray Davis.
I like Ray Davis. Yeah, I like Ray Davis. I think Ray Davis is.
And then they're not even using their third running back in Baltimore versus Ty Johnson. So I still edge the Ravens running game just because they got the Yeti and they got Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, well, not Lamar because they got Josh Allen at the Bills from there on, but the Yeti is good for two of those running backs combined.
No, absolutely. Yeah, the Yeti is, listen, he's still doing it. What was 31, about to be 32. Still holding on strong. Usually running backs have fallen off by now, and the Yeti's just proven us wrong. I mean, but hey, that's why he spends so much money on that health regimen he's got in the offseason. $1 million a year.
$1 million body, baby.
Yeah,
$1 million body.
Hey, but yeah, no, I got to agree with you. I think before the week had started, if you were to ask me, it would have been Lamar. But no doubt, after watching this past week, now I'm kind of torn. I kind of like Josh Allen. I think he's played a lot better this season than he has in past, especially with less to work with. Yeah, and that's where I think he's gained it from me.
His offensive line's gotten worse. I mean, his offensive talent around him has decreased.
Yeah,
but he's gotten better. You see.
I agree with you.
He's made them play above their skill level. Just to me, watching him play, I'm just like, good Lord.
Yep. Well, still plenty of football to go. We'll debate this some more. I mean, but yeah, that to me, those I believe, as well as you, that's the 2 front runners as far as MVP going into the season. I don't think anybody comes close to the 2 of them. I mean, is there another name you might throw in there?
I mean, I know everybody's going to throw in Mahomes.
No,
they started off 9-0.
They're
going to.
If you're gonna say that, then you might as well put Taylor Swift in the conversation because she's played about as good as football as Patrick Mahomes has this year. Stop it.
She didn't show up the one game they lost.
Yeah, see,
I'm just saying. She's the true MVP of the Chiefs locker.
Yeah. Well, you notice they didn't make any calls in the Chiefs' favor in that crucial last portion of the fourth quarter. Maybe Tay-Tay didn't leave no autograph pictures for the refs this week, so they felt a little left out. Said, "All right, no bargain for you, buddy."
Yeah, there was no show tickets.
But anyways, that's our show for this week, guys. Always a pleasure. We're gonna come out and don't forget our shorts. Watch those. We are gonna make those this week, and we're also gonna pick over our. Oh, actually, I forgot to bring this up.
Oh, don't bring this up.
Oh, no. We got to bring this up, baby. This is the good stuff. So if you did not see our shorts, I had the Vegas guys, the people we've had on the show, Big Sean included with Nicky Boy and Wiley and myself, have our starts of the week. Sean here finished last. He went with his combination of Jalen Hurts, Jonathan Taylor, and Justin Jefferson with Mike Gesicki as his tight end, and it didn't work out too well for you, buddy. Nicky Boy did all right with Brock Purdy, Joe Mixon, Nico Collins, and David Njoku. He scored 89 points. We went off of PPR scoring in this. You only had 40 there, Big Sean. And Wiley, who you had a little friendly side bet with in this, he goes with the combination of Joe Burrow, Jahmyr Gibbs, A.J. Brown, and apparently he didn't look at the injury report, which happens from time to time. He had George Kittle.
He only played 3.
So he only played 3, and he still beat you. He scores 66 to your 40. I was the clear winner in the week with my Jared Goff, Devon Achane, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Pat Freiermuth combination for a whopping 114 points. I get the W this week. Don't forget to watch those shorts, guys, because we will post those up every Thursday and see on the next show who is the winner, and we're going to talk a little smack. So, follow us for more, guys. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. Follow us for those shorts and those memes, and also here on YouTube. And if you can't watch us, find us on your favorite spot to get podcasts. We're on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music. Find us wherever you can at Vegas Guys Locker Room. Thanks for watching the show. Big Time Shaun, thanks for joining me, buddy. Always appreciate it.
I appreciate you, buddy.
All right. We'll talk to you again next week. Me and Big Shaun will be back, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Later.